is Makeup Dr. Shari, and this is one of the molds that one of the prosthetics that I sculpted. This is the White Walker prosthetic, and I did a very quick and dirty video on how to apply this prosthetic after it's been painted. And you're gonna paint it. You can apply it and then paint it. Doesn't matter what order you do it in. So check it out. Happy Halloween, you guys. I should say that you can, you'll want to cover your eyebrows because depending on what type of glue you're going to use, sometimes the glues are difficult to get out of your eyebrows, especially the Prostate. You do not want to get this into your eyebrows. If you're just going to use spirit gum, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Unfortunately, my spirit gum bottles, both of them are closed. Like, I forgot that I normally have to ask my brother-in-law to open these for me. So, instead of that, to cover our eyebrows, we're going to use a glue stick that I got from our local Raytown Lee Summit. I think my mom got this. So anyway, I'm going to take this and we're just going to take some of it off with a spatula, or you can use whatever you want. And we're going to smooth the eyebrows down. So we're just trying to keep the glue out. And I will also try not to put glue near the eyebrows either. But especially since I won't be able to glue this down with spirit gum like I kind of wanted to. I might end up sleeping in this prosthetic. I'm just going to slightly tack it down. So, and I'm just taking a little bit off. I mean, if it's just you and it's just your glue stick, you could probably just use your fingers. This is what a lot of drag queens do too when they're covering their eyebrows. Just kind of a neat way to change the shape of your face. So we've got those smoothed down, and I'm going to powder that, and I'll be right back. Our brows dry and are glued down and powdered. And I don't do them, like if you're gluing down your brow for a drag queen prosthetic, look, then of course you're going to want to do more than that. But I just did like one layer. So I've got the prosthetic here. It's already pre-painted, the one that we did before this. And you're going to want, if you want to stay on all day, we're going to talk about double tacking. Oh, but before that, I was looking at my directions. Let's go ahead and talk about where you want to place the prosthetic. So this thing is going to be over the complete entire face. So I know exactly where to put the glue because it's going to go all over my face. However, you want to double tack means that you are going to apply your Prosade or glue in here, which if you're trying to get it to stay all day, you're probably going to want to do Prosade. So you're going to want to put some Prosade on your sponge here. So we'll dab a little bit in there. And I'm just going to double tack it around the nose area. And get my sponge together here. So we're just going to go into the nose area here. If your piece is a little more delicate, you may want to lay this down, but we're just going to stipple the Prosade, and if you're going to want to double tack it all around the face, we're going to want to apply the Prosade in this manner here, all over the face. Let that dry. Once it's dry, we'll take an old brush. Do not use your good makeup brushes. An old brush, and we're going to powder the inside of that. Sometimes I'll just let the powder come off the brush so that I'm not getting glue on the brush, but that's why I use an old brush. This brush was originally a lot longer than this, and it got latex on it, so I had to cut down the brushes. So this is my old glue brush, or not glue brush, but my powdering brush. So so we double tack this. We've placed Prosade on the inside. We put some powder on it, and that's similar to the way that you're prepping the piece as well. And that's similar to the way that you prep the piece before you paint. So before you paint, if you look back at the video that I showed where you place Prosade all over the piece, you let that dry, you powder it. That's pretty much the same thing. So once we have the inside Prosade and powdered, we'll put Prosade on our face. And I'm just going to hit the high points because I do not want to sleep in this prosthetic. Again, you want to keep this out of your hair. So I have my hair braided down, and then I have this headband to keep my hair back, but you're going to want to keep your hair back off of, out of the way of the glue and off of your face. So you see I'm going along the jawbone, the high points first, and then I kind of come in. So the same way you'd stipple it inside, and I'm staying out of my eyebrows because I like my eyebrows and I want them to stay there. I'm also staying out of the eye area, and we're doing that, of course, because there's eye holes. So we want to stay out of that area. So I'm going to let this set, and I'm going to set up to put a little black around the eye holes because I think it'll be easier to do before I put this on. So we'll be right back. I'll get my, we're just going to use the Muron Pro Color Ring. I don't know if you can see that there. I should put a link down inside, and I'm just going to use the black in that. You can use pretty much any kind of black that you want that works well for you. I'll be right back. Recording. So again, I'm just going to hold this over my face a little bit so I can see. I'm basically just covering the eye areas of the eye socket. So I've got a little bit of the cream paletted out. If you're the only one that uses the cream, and you can stick your sponge in there, I just don't do that. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that on a sponge. I have a textured sponge, but you don't really need it for this. You're just basically trying to get the black color down. It also probably be a good idea to put this around the lips too. Now, if you were going to do this on someone else, if you were applying the piece to somebody else, I think it would be probably just as easy to do it before or after. But if you're doing this to yourself, it's probably going to be easier to do it before. So I'm saying it's easier either way. Like if you're doing it to somebody else, it doesn't really matter what order you do it in, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm trying to make sure the skin is covered. I'm going all the way up to my my brow. I'm super tired, you guys. Super tired. I had so much fun last night working with the Boy Scouts for their Gore Fest. I did some like really big, exaggerated wounds for their triage thing. I'm just going to use my fingers here too. To get really close to my eyes. And they're so great. The Boy Scouts are so great to work with. I have to find some new wounds to do for them next year, because I feel so lucky that they asked me to work with them. They're just really great people. I love watching them do their Pledge of Allegiance and then their Boy Scout pledge. Alright, so we'll be back. I need to powder this down. Now, I was looking for, I had like a palette that had like brown and black matte on it, which was my own personal palette that I've had for years, and I cannot find it, so I'm going to have to use my Lorac palette. You do not have to use a fancy black eyeshadow, and honestly you could probably just set this with translucent powder. I just feel like black powder is gonna look better. See how more intense that is when you set it with the black powder? I am using a regular eyeshadow brush because I am putting it in regular eyeshadow. And because I know any cream paint I get on this, I can easily clean off. But after I get to using this brush is going far, far away from all of my prosthetic stuff. But anyway, yeah, I really liked working with. So if you are a makeup artist or aspiring makeup artist, you get a chance to work with the Boy Scouts, definitely do it. Do it. So, and you can come in a little bit later too with some eyeliner if you want to get a little bit closer up. But I'm just loading my brush and really pressing. And I'm pressing the powder in there because I really want it to stay. And you can kind of see the difference here. All right, so that is putting that on there. Oh, my camera's moving there too. And we can also, if we take a look at the prosthetic, we can also probably stand to put some on our lips. I might do that after I put the prosthetic on. And because I'm doing this on myself, my edges are not thin on this piece. So this is an old piece and it's super thick. So I could probably stand to cut these off beforehand. If you had really thin, beautiful edges, which I love, if they're thinner than this and you're applying this to somebody else, it's easy to place it down and then you can cut it where you need to. I am going to go ahead and take off, and what this edge is here is called flashing. So I've already cut the flashing out of the eye and the mouth. So this is excess product. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the flashing off now because I'm ready to apply it. So I'm going to grab some cuticle scissors and cut that off. And you can kind of judge for yourself too. So here is the edge, the flashing, and we're just going to go along. And when you're cutting it, if it's thin enough to tear, it's actually kind of better to just hold on. You want to hold on to the area that you want to tear, because if you just pull it off, you'll ruin the whole piece. But if you hold on here, what's nice about tearing it is that you get uneven edges. And uneven edges mean that your eye's not going to focus on that as much as if you had an even edge. If you have a straight line, the eye's going to be drawn right to that. But if you have an uneven edge, as you can see right here, I have my finger down where I want the tearing to stop, so I don't. And I'm just facing this towards you so you can see what I'm doing. So I don't tear into my prosthetic. So does that make sense? Let me know in the comments if you guys have questions about this, and if you want to see me do this with a thin edge one, also let me know too. And I can show you what it's like to apply it to somebody else. So this is the extra flashing that you can throw away, or you can melt it and use it to make something else if you want. Like, you can do little out of kit effects. So here are my edges a little bit thinner, so I'm going to be really careful not to tear the rest of the piece. And like I said, you can cut it. We're just going to go ahead and tear it. And you want that uneven line. So I'm just going to finish tearing it all the way around the bottom, and I'll be right back. Torn off the excess flashing. You can see how this looks. Another reason also why you wouldn't necessarily tear the edges if they're really thin before you apply it is because thin edges, when you're trying to glue it down, will curl under, and it'll make it a little more difficult to apply. So that's why it's a good idea to leave the flashing on if your edges are really thin and, like I said, really thin and beautiful, because it'll be easier to kind of just place it down and then pull that edge off, and then you can kind of pull it that way. So we have some glue on our face already, and we let that get tacky. I'm going to add a little bit of fresh glue onto there and here, and then we're going to set this up. So give me just a minute. I'll be right back. So as you can see here, I have my prostate inside my piece here. I don't know if you can see that there. And I do not take it all the way out to the edge, because if I have thin edges and I take it all the way out to the edge, they could roll under. I am going to go ahead and take the prostate, and I'm just dipping that into, I pour as little prostate as I can into this cup because I don't want to waste any, because it's kind of expensive. Now, you may want to put on a little more glue if you're going to keep it on all day. I am not. I'm going to take this off and go to bed, because I have to get up and go to work in the morning. So, and we're going to take this and we're going to start in the middle. It's glued through my thing there. Oh, we love it. Okay, and I'm going to get it situated around the nose and the eyes first. I think I'm going to take this down to the chin. So I start in the middle by the nose, and then I take it out. If you feel like the mouth isn't big enough, you can come in with a little bit of a cuticle scissor if you need to. We're gonna work to the outside edges. I don't know if I opened up. I did open up the nose. I don't know if we talked about that, cutting over the nostrils there so you can breathe. So you can see this isn't glued down because I didn't go all the way out to the edge. So we're going to press it down. This can go over the top lip. I don't put glue directly on my top lip though. And this was done on a thinner face than mine. I have a really full face. So if you have a thinner face, then this will probably fit you a lot better. So I'm going to go in. You can do this with sponges. You can do it with brushes. If you use a brush, please use a disposable brush that you plan on never using again, because you will not be able to use it for anything else after you stick it in Prozaid. We're just going to go over and under that edge. I'm going to tack it down. I'm going to kind of hold that there. I'm going to go under the edge here. And you can go underneath the chin if you need to. This one sticks pretty well underneath the chin. So since I'm doing this to myself, like I said, this was done on a much thinner face than mine. So this is sculpted on a man's face. My brother-in-law, actually. My brother-in-law who does the Joe a Day, Go Joe, a real American blog. Big shout out to Joe a Day right now. I just like you guys to know that I do not normally wear my own prosthetics. I'm in the business of putting them on other people and not wearing them myself. So this is kind of fun, actually. Now, if I was going to be wearing this all day, I'd probably take like a Q-tip or something and get underneath here. I did put glue underneath my chin and underneath the chin part here, so just pressing that down. If you feel like you need to, you can use a blow dryer to blow dry the edge. So now, I'm going to go ahead and I will be right back to color my lips. I make Q-tips for some reason, I don't know. I've already paletted out the black. This is the same black I used around my eyes. If you have black lipstick, you can use that too. And all you have to do is just powder it. So they're just going to go in here on the lips. See how that blends in so much better with the black lip? So you don't even notice where this thing starts and stops at. Now, you can take the paint job up and do the same paint job all the way around. In which case you do black and then you do the gray. And then you would take that down here as well. So that is coloring the lips. That little finished product. I just went and found like a piece of black fabric to like put over my head. And my mom was like, are you done? Are you okay? And I was like, yeah, what do you think? And she was like, oh my gosh. Like, it's nice it moves with your body, with your face. And I don't have it tacked down really hard. So I think if I had it glued a little bit better, like if I had double tacked it, then definitely would move with my face a lot better. But you can see. Now if you have like a wig that would cover the edge, that's fine. You can use black to cover the edge. Again, look, I'm getting ready to go to bed because I have to get up early to go to work. I just covered myself up in black and it's still really striking. This is the Makeup Dr. Shari, and I'm wishing you a happy Halloween.